Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NARSA Weekly Update for the week commencing Monday, the glorious 12th of July 2021. It's Gary Gillen here, and I'm your host again for this week's edition. And I would like to start by wishing all loyal Orange men, women, and kids across the world a very happy 12th of July. I hope you had a chance to enjoy it, and whatever you were up to, I hope that it was everything that you ever hoped and dreamed it would be. It reminded me that myself and a few bears over here in Calgary used to have a bit of a party on the 12th of July. It didn't matter what day it was, we just got together, had a few beers, and it typically culminated in us making a bit of a visit over to the Stampede grounds for the Calgary Stampede whenever the dates lined up. And as I sit here right now, I'm not 100% sure why we stopped doing that, so maybe we would want to resurrect that for next year, maybe something to put in the suggestions box in here in Calgary. So let's get straight to the content for this week, and we'll start off with our game segment. So unfortunately we managed to lose our second pre-season friendly this past weekend, 1-0 away to Tranmere Rovers, and our manager was not a happy chappy at all afterwards. He said the goal we conceded was embarrassing from our level on how it was last year. People jumping out of the way of tackles, people being soft and weak, and I can't tolerate that. As we move along, we will get stronger and better, and there will be a better level of performance. It's quite frustrating to lose the game. The big picture, the result is not important at the moment, but the takeaway is where we have to improve, certainly in the final third. There was another part of that particular interview as well where he said, there's one major thing that's going to be better for us in the next wee while, and that's we have 8 first-team players on the way back. Or he certainly hinted to 8 players being available that weren't available on the weekend there. But yeah, man, the guy is so intense and is just simply a winner. And normally, truly, I don't pay too much attention to the friendlies in terms of the score or performance, but you can see the manager clearly does. And this will hopefully be a shot in the arm for the team to go out and perform in every single game as if they needed it, really. But, like everything, I'd much rather lose a friendly than a meaningful competitive game any day of the week. And I'm sure mostly every other Rangers fan is the exact same. So next up, we have a wee bit more activity on the friendlies front with an additional match being added against none other than Real Madrid. Yeah, Real Madrid. I was really surprised when I seen that. And what I recount seeing, or maybe I read it or heard it, I think I read it, was they said, well, when we did our focus groups, the overwhelming favourite of someone that we would like to commemorate our 150th year against would be Real Madrid. And I would absolutely concur with that. I think that's a great idea, and I've always wanted to see Rangers in competitive action against Real Madrid. But it made me think about the focus groups part, and I would like to know who's part of these focus groups and how you get to be on part of focus groups, because I would think that an organisation like NARSA and our friends at ORSA and our friends over in the Middle East and in Dubai and Hong Kong and stuff, I think they would like to be part of focus groups as well. So I'm going to maybe make a wee inquiry at the club to see what it's going to take to get to be on these committees, because I think we can certainly add value, because there's lots of great ideas from overseas bears as well. So our next game is this coming Saturday, July the 17th, at home to Arsenal, with a 2 p.m. UK kick-off time, which is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And now that the Euros and the Copa America are done, we'll see mostly everyone back at Ibrox fairly shortly, I would imagine, and we'll start to get a wee bit of a semblance of our best team back on the pitch as we move towards the real competitive games, which start in just less than 3 weeks now, which is very, very exciting. So yeah, after the Arsenal game, we are away to Blackpool a week on Wednesday, and then at home for the double header on the July 24th against Brighton, and then July 25th against Real Madrid as well. So a fun time for Rangers fans to get to see some competitive action, and you can see it's ramping up as we close in on the first game against Livingston. From an RTV perspective, I know that some folks across the globe were experiencing challenges accessing the feed on the weekend there, or having intermittent issues with the sound, no scoreboard and things like that. So we did reach out to David Melvin from RTV for an overview of specifically what happened, but my preliminary understanding is that it was Tranmere's feed that we were using and repackaging and putting out from an RTV perspective. So I don't think RTV had too much control in terms of the quality of the output from that. But that said, we will find out what happened and let everyone know as soon as we know. It's bad enough experiencing a bad feed, but experiencing it on a game where you have to get up at an unearthly hour to watch it, and then there's a less than desirable feed, and then a less than desirable performance and result. Oh dear, that's a kind of double or triple whammy that nobody really wants. But on to our planning from a next season perspective with RTV. We are hoping to get around the table with David Melvin again this coming week to continue to solidify our plans for the new season as we move into the new normal across our continent here in North America. We do have to exercise, real connectedness and flexibility with our membership to that are in areas that aren't fully reopened yet, or for whose club membership aren't fully comfortable socialising for the games as they were before, that kind of thing. So it's not going to be easy, but I'm sure Alan McWatt, our new broadcasting RTV director, will be all over it and will do the very best for our membership. So if you are listening, Alan, get on with that and get it fixed and sorted for the membership now, please. Thank you. From a shout-outs perspective, I did want to congratulate the Italian national team for their victory in the Euro 2020 Championships last night. It was a fittingly dramatic end to a tournament, and I reckon, and I thought the tournament was excellent. I thought I can't remember a really bad game, to be honest, and I thought it was very well done. The teams were all attacking, very, very good product on the field for sure. And I reckon, honestly, the best team overall in the whole tournament won the trophy. I recall actually after the very first game of the championships, I had said that if they played like they did against Turkey throughout the tournament, the Italians would be very, very difficult to beat. And lo and behold, I'm right again. I honestly, I know you've probably heard this before, but I don't follow international football that much. But then during the tournament, I did hear about the Italians' unbeaten streak that they were on, and that only compounded my feeling that this was going to be theirs to lose, and that's actually how it transpired. So congratulations again, and as I said before earlier in the show tonight, that we truly get to turn our attentions to Rangers and the ongoing preparations for next season. And I have to admit, it's a wee bit lonely here now. In my house, as I'm still working from home and will be until around about late September time this year, and for the last wee while there was football, there was tennis on the TV to keep me company and keep things going during the day, and both ended yesterday on the very same day. So the new season and the Olympics can't come quick enough to get a wee bit more stuff on the TV during the working day to relieve a little bit of the lack of atmosphere in the Gillen household. From a convention update perspective, the update this week is that we've actually concluded. I was going to say we were in the final stages of system testing for the two-night ticket packages that we're going to be putting on sale. But I got confirmation from Chris tonight, as we were chatting earlier, that the testing has been successful. It has worked. We just had to do a wee bit of work in what they call the system back end, so that we would be able to discern between 2 and 3 night packages and how the system would behave when we get to that spot. So our next steps, firstly, before I get to the next steps, thank you very much once again to Chris for all his help on getting that one over the line. And our next steps will be to liaise with the hotel directly to establish the absolute numbers that we can hit for the Celebrity Ballroom on the Thursday and Friday nights, so that all of our guests are comfortable and that there are enough seats on the Thursday and Friday that if people want to sit, they can. The reception style arrangement that we have, we have to, there's not going to be a seat for every single person, but I just want to know what the layout is, and I want to know how many people would be able to get seated as well, because a lot of our demographic will want a seat, and a lot of people by the same token wouldn't mind standing at high top tables or just mingling around with the various other groups of people that are standing around as well. We just want to make sure that we cater to everyone. So I found that there are different types of comfort that people want to get from that, so I just want to make sure that we have what we need to have. So that's not to say that there won't be any tables or seats, or that there will be absolutely tons of tables and seats. It will just be a wee bit of a blend for us, I think. And 3,000 people is the limit that we are told by Planet Hollywood that they can comfortably fit into that space. And as I say, I just want to make sure that Planet Hollywood's version of comfortable matches with NARSA's version, so that we're not simply slamming people in and not giving a toss about how comfortable they'll be for those nights. There's just no chance that we would do that, of course. So we have a wee bit of work to do on that this week, and I'll get on with that tomorrow morning, and then we should be in a good position to truly determine discernible next steps for next week's pod, and I can talk about it a wee bit more there. So we are definitely getting there, folks, and as I said last week, my commitment is to do everything we can to make it happen, and as soon as we possibly can. We want to get these tickets on sale as quickly as possible as well. Regarding the hotel rooms, we did reach out to the hotel to increase the rooms block, and we so that we have a wee bit of buffer in there for folks who haven't yet booked for whatever reason, despite the numerous warnings that it's going to sell out. We are going to get back to the hotel tonight. I'll do that actually later tonight when Leo goes to bed, with our new revised number request, and then they will get back to us, and then we agree on the numbers. They send over the contract, I sign it, send it back to them, they countersign it, send it back to me, and then we'll advertise that. It happens fairly quickly, but there are a few admin steps that are in place that we do need to follow, and that does take a wee bit of time before we can actively communicate. But so far so good. The indications are that they will certainly accommodate us where and when they can, and the good news is that the ball is rolling, so we'll be in good shape to let everyone know shortly, and maybe later this week on social media or on the pod next Monday, as to what that will mean from a next steps perspective. So if you are waiting to do that, then please stay tuned, and we'll get the information to you as quickly as we can. A wee update on the travel. We are planning to meet with Roseanne this Thursday to finalise some details for our ad hoc partnership for Las Vegas 2022, and I'm hopeful that we'll be able to move fairly swiftly on that one to get ourselves organised, if indeed we do choose to go down that. So we have been talking for a wee while now, and she's just out of town right now, and once she gets back in there on Thursday, we'll have a conversation and see what we can do from there, if anything. And one final wee plug from a convention perspective for our frequently asked questions document that we've been talking about for the last bunch of weeks. It's on our website. Take a peek. If your question isn't answered there, then you can absolutely get in touch with us as we go forward. From a feature segment perspective, we did have an interview last week with we had the chance to sit down with senior Rangers writer for the Glasgow Times and the Herald Scotland, Chris Jack, to discuss his new book, Going for 55, which was formally launched in Glasgow today, I believe. So the book basically chronicles the journey of the club, paying particular focus from the AGM in March 2015 to the point of lifting the Scottish Premiership trophy in May of this year, and it has a whole bunch of great content and great contributions from key influencers who were there when it was all happening, it was all going down. And I haven't personally finished the whole book yet, but what I have read already is absolutely a great read, and well worth the purchase. What we will do is pop a link to the site for purchase details on the blurb accompanying the pod for tonight, and then you can access that if that's what you're interested in. When I last chatted with Chris, he was going to check with the publisher on what, if any, accommodations they could make for international sales. You might remember a number of months back now, but when Fernando Rixon's publisher ended up developing a specific page for North America where you could go and select your country, Canada or America, and it gave you the all-in price for the book, for the postage and the packaging, etc. And that was really, really very, very handy for us. So I'm hoping that something similar to that would work a treat for us, and it gives you access to buy the hard copy. I'm going to do that anyway, because I typically like to read a hard copy, and it is a little bit of a collector's item too. The version I have right now is electronic. So, and one wee quick thing, not to spoil any surprise, but that I did want to share, from the foreword of the book, which was provided by none other than Dave King. is where he's talking about the Sports Direct influence in the club, and he quotes, if you forgive me for quoting here, but he calls it the Ashley virus. The Ashley virus, yeah. He actually said that. Actually, well, he didn't say that. He wrote it down in the book, and I have to admit I laughed out loud when I read that, and it's just good. Dave does not mince his words, never has, and likely never will, and it was just a tremendous start, of course. So lots of other great content in there. So do please go check it out and take a bit of a walk down memory lane. And there's guaranteed to be some stuff in there that you either forgot intentionally or unintentionally, but it's good to bring back some of the memories and get going. So well done to Chris for getting this one over the line, and I hope the book launch went well today. From a communications section perspective, some things I did want to mention from this past week, and firstly, from a Rangers shares perspective, as I had mentioned last week, the club still have shares remaining from the recent share issue that was issued, that was put out, and you likely have seen that they have continued to do their advertising through their various media outlets. Unfortunately for us, Canada, America, Japan and Australia were four of the main countries that I recall having restrictions in place preventing the club from advertising directly to potential investors or investor groups in those countries. So what I'd committed to last week was doing a wee bit of research into what the share offering is all about and the options open to you as individual subscribers and listeners to this particular pod. And I do need to start and be very, very crystal clear that this segment is a private conversation between me and you. It's not endorsed by Rangers Football Club. They don't even know I'm doing this, nor the facilitator Tifosi or anything like that. It's just ramblings of a little baldy man in Calgary, just to try and give you a little bit of detail there. So just from some logistical perspectives here, the share issue ends at 1 minute before midnight this Friday, which is July the 16th, I believe. I know for a fact it's July 16th. I'm just the I believe part was for the 1 minute to midnight. I think it is 23:59, so if you listen to this and decide to get in on the action prior to then good for you. But just make sure that you hit the deadline. And if you decide not to do anything after this particular segment, that's absolutely fine as well. It's just good to be in the know about what it is you are or are not signing up for. So here's what I know. So the club have already raised significant investment since 2015 to now have us in a position where we have a squad with asset value, top class personnel employed throughout the club, if you just look at our manager, for example, and even folks on the business side as well, of course. We have significant investment in our academy, which is bearing fruit now, of course, as well, in terms of Nathan Patterson and other ones of the kids coming through as well. Investment in our infrastructure, both at Ibrox and Auchenhowie, and of course significant progress on the pitch, with more to come, hopefully, as well. And this has also been supplemented by this investment has also been supplemented by a strong season ticket sales, and the success on the pitch has seen the club's revenues increase by over 25% in the past 4 years to just under £60 million for this year. And what that's to concentrate on, the four main pillars of our growth as a club, and you've probably read this in places, but forgive me for just going over it again. The four main pillars are supporters, commercial, Europe and player trading. So supporters via season ticket sales and other areas of support like the share issue that I'm talking about, the bitsy stuff that I'm going to come on to in a wee bit here, and other bits and pieces that the fans can help support in. Commercial, the constant involvement in our commercial partnerships and likes of with Castor and the various sponsors that we have as well. From a European perspective, regular involvement and success in Europe, and it's estimated that the Champions League is worth around £25 to £35 million per season for the club should we get there, and the Europa League is worth around about 15 million in revenues as well. And for this season, the Scottish UEFA coefficient has skyrocketed for us, basically since Steven Gerrard put us on a really solid foundational footing in Europe over the past 3 seasons. And at the start of next season, the 21-22 season, we'll be ranked, not Rangers, but Scotland will be ranked 9th, which will give us that holy grail of the automatic qualification to the Champions League group stages next year if we win the league this coming season as well. And then from a player trading perspective, I think you'll agree that we're all bracing ourselves to see what this is actually going to be like for us, because we haven't really been involved in many outs this past wee while, past few seasons, and of key players in the first team squad. I mean, I know there's always been a kind of natural replenishing of some of the fringe players over time, but with us now having a genuine lot of value in the squad, I think we'll be seeing if indeed we sell as wisely as we have been buying this past few seasons as well. So the club has an enterprise value of just over £100 million, and this share offering is attempting to sell 6.5 of the equity in the club to raise £6.75 million at an issue price of 25 pence per share. The minimum investment you can do is £500, the maximum is £100,000, and what you get for your investment is the following key shareholder rights. You will get voting rights on a one vote for one share basis. You will get information rights, and the consolidated financial statements and reports of the company and its subsidiaries are provided to all shareholders. You will get to attend the AGM and attend and vote at any AGM and any extraordinary general meeting as well, and you would get takeover code protections. And if there's a change of control at the club where an individual or consortium takes more than 30% stake, all shareholders must be presented and will be presented with an opportunity to sell at the last booked price as well. This particular share issue, from a club perspective, is intended to be invested in the ongoing development at Edmiston House, the Ibrox seating, hopefully an increase in seating capacity there, and hospitality area upgrades, the pitches at Ibrox, both Ibrox and Auchenhowie, and then emerging talent, further investment in the academy as well. So that's what I know for now. You'll know that the club are obviously short of the target number that they are going for, the 6.75, with the ongoing advertising. And just today I received an email from both Tifosi and Rangers, the different emails saying invest in Rangers and be put into a draw for a special package for the Real Madrid game as well. So you're not too late just yet, and this is great news if you've been on the fence about thinking, putting your hat in the ring for this, and looking at where the money is going to go. Not only are you investing for your own future, assuming that the shares do well and you don't lose any significant sums of money, but you'll also be able to say that you were part of creating history at Rangers when the projects that I listed previously come to fruition. I personally think it's so cool to be able to be such a key part of our great club, and I do look forward to being more involved in that sort of thing as we move forward. And as I said earlier, 100% of course it is up to you, but I hope this wee section has been in some way valuable for you to at least be a wee bit more informed than you were before, and if that was part of your decision making criteria. So moving on, if you listened to the pod last week, you'll remember I talked about the club launching the inaugural Rangers fan token on Bitsy's global platform. Well, there was an article on the website from this past Friday saying that the tokens sold out in record fashion. And it reads, the fan token, a digital currency developed by our official fan token partner Bitsy, was the first European club fan token to be released by the company. The initial token offering generated an incredible response, which saw all 20 million fan tokens sell out and generating significant revenue for the club in the process. Owners of the fan token will now be able to take part in a series of interactive club polls and have the opportunity to win money can't buy gifts and experiences. More Rangers fans tokens will be released in the coming months. And I just wanted to quote the Bitsy CEO and co-founder, a person called Onur Altan Tan is his name, and apologies if I have butchered that there, but he says, we're extremely happy with the incredible interest received for the Rangers fan token project with Rangers FC. We have encountered one of the biggest demands of the world fan token market to date. 20 million Rangers fan tokens, which we put on sale on the 5th of July, were sold out within seconds. Over 5,000 investors and Rangers FC fans from all over the world became the owner of the Rangers token. It's just an utterly incredible start to our lives in the cryptocurrency space. And again, from a fan engagement and a fan involvement perspective, another area that you can get involved in something kind of cool, something kind of new, and know that there are absolute direct benefits for the club as well. So I'll put a link to the article on the blurb for this, but just great to see that sort of stuff just being successful immediately off the bat there as well. So next, I wanted to turn everyone's attention to a superb video that was put on to YouTube by our friends from the Dubai Loyal Rangers Supporters Club, that was basically conceived as a wee bit of a taster for folks attending their AGM, which was just this past weekend, but was essentially really a treat for Rangers fans across the world as it chronicles our beloved Rangers Football Club's history from the very early days right through to today. And if you haven't had a chance to see this video yet, you absolutely need to check it out. It is utterly incredible. I have to say, it's set to the orchestral version of Follow Follow, and some of the imagery they use and the memories it stirs, it really does bring tears of joy to the eyes. I don't mind admitting that. So huge thank you and congratulations to Colin McCabe and Rory McGregor and everyone else at the Dubai Loyal for all their hard work and basically, constantly raising the communications bar for Rangers fans across the world. It's an utterly stunningly brilliant piece of work that they've put together, and I'll definitely put the link in for tonight's pod, and please do go check it out. It's just over 3 minutes long. It won't take up too much of your time, and you will absolutely not regret it. And you'll of course remember that the Dubai Loyal were the key figureheads in the Light Up the World Burj Khalifa light show as well. So these guys are really pushing the envelope in terms of how we can communicate as a wide fan base, and I think it's great. It just gets better and better and better for everyone as we move forward. Another wee update on the Andy Gray nomination for the Scottish Football Hall of Fame. I was hoping to actually get Andy on a quick podcast interview this past weekend, and did have him lined up for Saturday morning, but unfortunately he had a conflict arise at the last minute, which was way more interesting and entertaining than talking to me, I guess, and it didn't hurt my feelings, not even a wee bit. But seriously, I would like to try and make this happen, and I know that Andy's keen on doing it as well, so we'll definitely get that organised. And since the Premiership season has been finished for some time and now the Euros are finished, Andy will be making his way back from his base in Qatar back to the UK, and once he's fully settled back in there, we'll hopefully set up this wee blether and get that out there, because there's got lots of interesting stuff to talk about his career. And it won't be an absolute chronicle of his career, but more focusing on some of the reasons and rationale why he should be in the Scottish Football Hall of Fame as well. So please stay tuned for that, and we'll get that to you as and when we can. And almost finally, on the comms front for this week, you may have seen this past week or so, I think past week, our friends at and partners, official partners of NARSA at 5 Stars, announced a very special managers dinner for what is now March the 3rd and 4th 2022 at the Doubletree by Hilton in Glasgow. And this event will be featuring Graham Souness, Walter Smith, Dick Advocat and Alex McLeish. Yeah, you heard it right, I said Walter Smith. So how tremendous is it to hear his name in this sort of vein now, especially after all of his health challenges that he's gone through this past while. I was so delighted to hear that. So here's my understanding of what happened in terms of this event being conceived and being put on sale. They had originally went for one evening, which was on the 4th of March, and it sold out in record time, seconds I believe. And then unfortunately we had this now somewhat regular mindless minority of angry people who didn't get their tickets and took to their keyboards to write and the now common insults of shambles, joke and all that sort of stuff. And I would like to say that I'm glad it isn't just NARSA that gets that sort of silliness, but overall it's just ridiculous. I'm not happy to say that at all. I just don't understand people. I really don't understand why anybody would think that that's a decent and upstanding way to behave. But anyway, back to the positivity. They have added that extra night on the 3rd now, and the tickets went on sale just earlier today. I think it was 6 p.m. UK time today. So as I record this right now at 9:12 p.m. my time, Mountain Standard Time, I don't know if it's sold out, if that second one is sold out or not, but I guess we'll find out fairly shortly. But what I'm extremely happy to tell you about is that 5 Stars have very kindly donated 2 tickets for NARSA as a bit of a competition giveaway. So what we'll do is work out how best to organise the giveaway and get on with that over the next wee while. It could be a great gift for someone from home that you could give to them, or a good excuse to jump on a plane and head back for what is going to be an amazing couple of events. I don't know, as we record this right now, what night the tickets are. I believe the 3rd and 4th is a Thursday and Friday. So once we find out what night it's for, I don't know if that would influence anyone's interest in or not in entering for the competition. But stay tuned on this one, folks, and we'll be in touch when we've decided how best to give these away. But thank you again to our friends and partners at 5 Stars for their generosity there. And the last thing from a communications perspective for this week is just a wee reminder of what I mentioned last week. If you or your club has a flag at Ibrox and you need to get it back, and the club are looking to return them to each club or individual who had sent them in for the display. So if you check out last week's pod for information about how to get in contact with Greg Marshall and get that stuff back, that would be great. So as I mentioned earlier, we'll see if we get Andy on the phone this week. Hopefully we do, and we can break that up with another wee bit of an interview. And once again, if there's anyone else that you'd like to hear interviewed, please by all means do let us know, and we'll do our very best to get that organised over the next wee while. And as I've mentioned, I think a couple of times now, just please keep the dialogue going with me for these pods. I would love to make it a bit more interactive and get some things to celebrate, some things that people would like me to talk about, some things that you'd like me to advertise. If you're doing something for charity, you want some help and support from the NARSA community, if you are doing anything of any note that you think people would like to know, then I am more than happy to talk about it and give you a bit of a plug on that as well. So please don't be shy. And like last week, I'm going to take this opportunity once again to plug the Rangers Supporters Club of Calgary's 55 celebration party that's going to take place at the home of the Rangers Supporters Club here in Calgary. It's at the Palomino this coming Saturday, the 17th of July, starting at 1 p.m. on the patio. So my love Erin is visiting her parents in Ontario for the next 3 weeks, and my beautiful baby boy Leo is also heading out to Niagara in Ontario with his mum on Friday. So I'm completely 100% on my own, and I'm 100, like almost 100, I'm in a high 60 to 70% sure that absolutely nothing will go wrong for me because of the fact that I am on my own, and that I'll behave absolutely accordingly to my lofty position and status within the Rangers community. Or if you've seen me at any of the conventions, it'll be like all 3 conventions nights combined into one afternoon on a sun-baked patio. Oh, dearie me. I'm getting excited already, and that doesn't usually mean it's a good thing. So let's see how I feel and sound on next Monday's pod as to whether the event went down with a bang or not. I'm going to try and behave. I really am going to try and behave, I promise. So that'll do it for this week for me, my friends. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to listen, and please do share it with anyone else that you think might enjoy it. And until next week, take care of yourselves. All the very best. Cheerio.